A thought occurs to me frequently over the last few weeks, and it's a very private kind of thing, but I'm going to share it with you anyway because, you know, uh, we're none of us are going to be able to operate as normal for very long because of what's coming. And the thought is that we're all going to wake up one day and suddenly find that the world has changed so dramatically. Either we're going to be under a nationwide martial law situation, or we're going to be in an actual war with China, perhaps, or there's going to be a false flag attack of such magnitude that it's going to crater the U.S. economy. It's something bigger than the 9/11 scale, by the way. Well, the deep state, let's be honest about it. They hate Trump so much, they are willing to murder hundreds of thousands of Americans in order to crash the economy, blame Trump, and get him out of office. So I have no doubt that if they could, and they probably can, they're willing to nuke a U.S. city in order to blame Trump. They'll fabricate false evidence. They'll say that, oh, Trump provoked Putin or something. Who knows? Or that Trump failed with Kim Jong-un and this is a North Korean ballistic missile, even when it's actually something totally different, like a briefcase nuke, a suitcase nuke. Whatever it takes. I can't tell you what it's going to be. I just know that, you and I wake up right now day to day, and you go to your job perhaps, and I do my work. And right now we can order things online. We can go to the grocery store. We can get food. Water comes out of the tap. The electricity works. Cell phones work. You can get information online because the internet is functioning. All these things that we both take for granted could be gone. I mean, no longer functioning for a while. I'm not talking about forever. I'm not saying it's the absolute total collapse of society. I'm just saying the disruptions could be so severe, and they could last for weeks or months, depending on the scenario. Maybe even years if it's like an EMP weapon attack. That would set things back for years. And by estimates of government contracted analysis, an EMP attack could kill 90% of the U.S. population. 90%. I think that's the estimate. 90%. Through starvation and disease and chaos for the most part. And that would happen mostly in the cities, by the way. Because those are the people who are totally unprepared to survive anything. Country folks will tend to be more okay because they know how to survive. As city people, by and large, I mean, I know there are exceptions, but a lot of city people, especially sort of the left-wing city people, they are clueless. Anyway, that's not the subject of this. What I'm saying is there's a lot of things that you and I both take for granted right now. The conveniences of modern society, the stability of society that could vanish in an instant. And I mean in an instant. Kind of like if you lived in New York City on September 10th, 2001, and you thought, life is normal here. Look, there's the Twin Towers looking good. This is New York City. The economy is humming. Everything's good. And then the very next day, you look up and there's two World Trade Center towers coming down. They're coming down in a cloud of debris and toxic dust. And from that day, the world changed. And it wasn't just the reality of New York and the U.S. economy, which was severely damaged by that, by the way. It was also, they passed the Patriot Act. They put into place the secret spying mechanism. What do you know, huh? All that legislation was ready to go to spy on the American people. The NSA kicked it into gear from that day, from 2001. It was the Patriot Act. We have to stop these terrorists, so we must spy on all the American people. That's essentially what that day was exploited to accomplish by the deep state. Make no mistake, the deep state was fully operating on September 11th. The deep state was all ready to go with the Patriot Act and to kick that in. And the reason I mention this is because you got to wonder, what are they ready to pounce on now? What kind of big event are they allowing to happen, either by standing down or perhaps engineering the event themselves. What are they going to pull off, and what are they wanting the reaction to enable them to be able to do? You see, that's the question. I mean, they already spy on everybody. What's the next thing? What? An economic crash? Confiscate all your money? Take your bank account? Take your savings account? Take your retirement account? To shore up the over-indebted federal government? I don't know. These are just, I'm just brainstorming with you here. These are things, sooner or later, there's going to be a day of reckoning about all this. Massive government debt spending, for example. Going to be a day of reckoning, and it's not going to be pretty. You might wake up, like you go to bed the night before, you check your bank account. Oh my God, I got $25,000 there in the savings account, let's say. Next day you wake up, you still have the $25,000, but it's worth nothing. Because in the middle of the night, somebody, let's say the president signs some emergency, and I'm not saying this president, Trump, would do it. This could be many years off, could be a decade away. But some president in the middle of the night signs something that calls for an automatic forced exchange of the U.S. dollar, that the dollar is being abandoned, and instead is going to be a new currency, let's say the Amero coin, whatever. Maybe it'll be like the U.S. Treasury crypto, like crypto treasure. They'll pull a Venezuela. Since Venezuela's collapsing, you notice they keep rolling out all this cryptocurrency garbage down there. Like they think that since their economy sucks and doesn't work, that they can roll out a virtual cryptocurrency that sucks and doesn't work and that will cover their tracks. These people are insane. But hey, maybe we'll have crypto treasure or treasure coin, something like that. Who knows? Might as well just call it crap coin. But again, these are just examples. I'm not making hard predictions here about any specific things. I'm just saying there's going to be a day where you and I wake up, and on that day, you're going to realize, okay, whatever preps I have done now, that's it. Whatever we have here, that's it. Because you're not going to be able to get UPS deliveries anymore. Not going to be able to get order from Amazon anymore. Banks are shut down. Credit cards don't work. Transactions are halted nationwide. What's going on? Oh, can you get gas? Then you're going to rush to the gas station. You're going to try to get gas because you haven't stored any fuel. Not a good situation to be in. This is why I love living in Texas, because you can buy a piece of rural property, let's say a property that's 10 acres or more, and you can get a 1,000-gallon diesel tank, and you can just put it on your property. I like the tanks that you bury underground that are double-walled against leaks and such. So you can get a 1,000-gallon diesel tank, you bury it in the ground, and then you can use an electric pump or even a manual pump to just pump the diesel fuel out. So right now, I'm sitting on 1,000 gallons of diesel. That's going to run tractors, trucks, generators, anything. And of course, I only buy diesel engines. Everything that I run runs on diesel. Why? Because diesel can store for years. Gasoline can't, but diesel can. And also diesel engines can be converted to what? Oh yeah, biofuel. So you can grow your diesel, essentially. You can grow seed crops and you can refine them and you can make fuel. I know it's a pain in the ass. It's very difficult, but it's doable. So that's why I only run diesel. Just as a side note, by the way. But what are you going to do when you wake up one day and you're like, oh, you can't buy gas, you can't get groceries, you can't get cash? Whatever you have on that day, that's it. Until the crisis is over, which could be weeks or months or even years, depending on the crisis. Oh, and by the way, whatever guns you have on that day, that's all you're ever going to get. Because all of a sudden, guns, go up 10 times in value on the black market. A Glock pistol that right now costs you $500. Prepare to pay $5,000 worth of, whatever is even accepted as currency at that time. You might not even be able to use cash. You might have to give up $5,000 worth of gold, if you've even got that, to buy a simple Glock that today will cost you only $500 and you can put it on your credit card. So if you don't own a pistol and a rifle right now, and if it's legal to own wherever you are, I urge you, you better get one of each, and actually more than one, because you need a backup. And you better get some ammo, and you better get some training and know how to use them, because the chaos that will be unleashed when whatever hits the fan, whatever it is, the chaos will come to your door probably if you're in a suburb or a city, especially. Hard to say if you're in the country, depends on the area in which you're living, but this violence and chaos can be brought to your door very easily. And if you don't have the ability to defend yourself, and the willingness to do so, by the way, which is a mental attitude, then you could very easily find yourself overrun, looted, beat up, raped, dead, house set on fire. I don't know. What do lawless people do? Well, just take a look at these radical left-wing Antifa terrorists. What do? They bash people in the head. They kick people. They try to knock your teeth in. And if they have access to weapons, they'll use weapons. They'll blast your front door down with an AK-47. What are you going to do? Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you some of the things. Well, I'll give you this tip. How about this? A .45 auto pistol. Did you know that all 45 rounds out of a pistol are subsonic by definition, by design? A .45 is a very, very heavy bullet. It's a heavy bullet that travels slower than the speed of sound. It's the mass that carries most of the energy. And if you put a silencer on a .45 pistol, you now have a very, very quiet system for delivering kinetic damage to attackers who are trying to kill you. And you can also buy AR-style rifles, carbines, that fire the .45 round. I guess here's one of my secrets. So you get one of these carbine rifles that shoots the .45 caliber. You make sure that the loads are subsonic out of the rifle. Sometimes loads will go supersonic because the length of the barrel causes the acceleration due to the expansion of gases. Obviously, this is mechanics of how firearms work, obviously. But the longer barrel means a higher velocity as the bullet leaves the barrel. So you got to be careful. Make sure you've got loads that are subsonic even in your rifle. And then you put a silencer on it, and you can get a silencer for a .45 pistol and use that silencer on both the pistol and the rifle itself. Then you put like a red dot sight on that rifle, and now you have a nighttime quiet rifle system where you can lob .45 auto rounds at very, pretty long distances. You'll need to get your dope on it. You'll need to understand the drop. What's your hold at 100 yards? What's your hold at 200 yards? But you can lob .45 auto rounds out, believe it or not. I mean, not that I would recommend it, but you could push them out to 400 yards. You wouldn't have great accuracy out there. And these are all subsonic, remember. So, they're not they're not piercing the air like a normal, rifle round. But if you had to, you could push it out there if you know your holds. So do you have anything like this? Do you have a way to defend yourself at night in a quiet way without drawing a lot of attention to yourself? Most people don't. I know a lot of people that have rifles and such. They've got an AR-15. It's loud as hell. Everybody for miles around is going to know you're shooting. But if you go right now and you get yourself a suppressor for a .45 auto setup, and that suppressor can work on both a .45 auto Glock and a .45 auto rifle, now you have a very, very quiet way to take out attackers, to defend your home, defend your family. And I'm just saying, this is just one example. I'm probably spending too much time on this technical, tactical stuff. But you need to think about what you can get now legally versus what you're not going to be able to get, very soon down the road. If it hits the fan, you're not going to be able to get a suppressor. Last time I bought suppressors, it took a year. The wait time with the ATF was a year. I'm like, seriously? You're going to make me wait a year? You got to pay for them up front, and then the gun dealer holds on to the suppressors for you while the ATF processes your paperwork. You go get all your fingerprints taken, you do the background checks and all that stuff. Always the same procedure. This is what it takes to buy a suppressor legally. And then after a year, they say, oh, everything's okay. This guy has no criminal record. This guy's good. Fingerprints check out everything, all the background checks. And then they approve it. And then you can go pick up your suppressors or suppressor if you only bought one. But if you're going to go through this, buy more than one, for God's sake. You need multiple suppressors, and you don't want to wait a year for each one. Just get a couple of them. Get a 45 auto suppressor, or one that you can change out, like the suppressor that I have. I think it's called the Osprey, and you could change it out to a 9mm or a 40 or a 45, so you can put it on different pistols and different calibers. I think it's called the Osprey, and it's a very good setup. It's very good. It's very quiet. Oh, and by the way, you can, with a Glock, a 45 auto Glock, and I think the number on that, isn't that a Glock 21? I get some of the numbers mixed up sometimes because, they have so many different numbers. I think the Glock 21 is a 45. And you can get like a big, 25-round magazine or something like that. So you can have this giant magazine sticking out of the bottom of the Glock, and then you have this giant suppressor can sticking out of the front. I mean, it looks ridiculous. But it's very, very effective for nighttime home defense. Very effective. You can punch bad people with 45 auto rounds and without having to reload and without making a lot of noise. If you're shooting your gun inside the hallway of your house, let's say, you absolutely do not want the hearing damage that's going to come from that. If you're shooting like a 9mm round, you're going to be deaf. You want a suppressed 45, trust me. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to hear jack for about a week. Anyway, I'm getting too bogged down into the details here. I'm just saying, be ready for a day where you wake up and everything's changed, and you can't access the things that you used to be able to access, and you won't be able to get a firearm. You won't be able to buy ammo. You won't be able to get cash out of the bank. You won't be able to buy groceries. Disruptions, people, disruptions. Because that day seems to be coming. And it's probably going to involve some kind of action, illegal action by the deep state, either some kind of a coup attempt or some kind of a massive false flag of some kind, or some kind of attack that has been, invited, like deep state operatives go to North Korea and convince them to drop an EMP nuke, high altitude detonation on America, just so they can destroy the country and blame Trump. I mean, that's how insane these people are, like John Brennan and James Comey, totally insane, treasonous criminals. They are at the point where they actually want America to die so that they can blame Trump and stop Trump. They want America's economy to be crashed. They want war with Russia because they say that anytime Trump talks about peace, that he's a Russian agent. I mean, give me a break. These people are totally insane. They're willing to destroy the country, the economy, your life, your liberties, everything. They're insane. So, stay informed. Read my website. I've got survival.news. I've also got gear.news, Gear, gear.news. It's all about survival gear, stuff to keep you safe. And these are articles you won't find on Natural News, by the way. This is a totally separate, sector of our publishing operation. Totally different types of content. Check it all out. Thanks for listening. This is Mike Adams. Be safe.
Learn more at healthrangerreport.com.
Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.